of us wonder, is it possible to heal from emotional and sexual abuse, particularly that which we experience as children? I'm here to tell you that it is possible. It is, however, a journey and sometimes a very challenging one. But it is indeed possible to reclaim who you were before the abuse. My name is Molina-Marshall, and I am a clinical licensed social worker, and I've been in the field of trauma for the last 30 years. I can tell you that yes, it is indeed possible, and I want to share with you some of the things that I have found throughout the years to be most helpful in healing from childhood emotional and sexual abuse. The very first thing that I want to say is that you are not responsible for the abuse that you experienced. It was not your fault. No matter what, you should not have been abused. Adults are here to protect, to take care of, and to help us to grow in healthy ways, not to take advantage, not to groom us. Grooming is a term that we use to explain what abusers do when they talk children into doing things that are inappropriate, but they explain to the child how important it is, or they make the child feel like they're going to get rewarded for doing whatever it is that they expect them to do. The grooming process is one in which the individual who is the perpetrator will somehow win over the child. Perhaps this child wants to hear that they're smart, that they're beautiful, that they're special, and the perpetrator reinforces that. They make them believe that. They treat them special sometimes. Now, let me say that not all sexual and emotional abuse is the same. There is no cookie cutter experience. I am not talking about the children that get beaten, that get physically tortured. Those are not the children I'm talking about. I'm talking about the children that are abused by family, by friends, by teachers, by folks who are responsible for them, maybe even on a daily basis. Those folks convince the child that it's okay for them to do whatever because they will be rewarding them and they will be made to feel even more special. So the first thing in healing from emotional and sexual abuse is to know that it wasn't your fault. And to know that even when children have poor boundaries, it is the adult's responsibility. It is the adult's responsibility to say, here is a healthy boundary. Healing from sexual and emotional abuse then also requires working on understanding what happened and understanding how you were overpowered, understanding how you may have felt like you had no choice. It is also really important to take into account that perpetrators will make you feel shamed, guilty at some point. Right? So it starts off with the grooming and the telling you how special you are and the telling you how they will protect you, take care of you, maybe give you things that your parents or caretakers or other adults around you are not able to provide you with. And then at some point, when you no longer want to partake, when you no longer feel that it is safe to be around this person, then they will start to also make you feel like it is dangerous to tell on them. They'll make you feel that you are risking the safety of your family. They make you feel like this is all your fault. Please know that it is not your fault. Please know that although you may feel very shamed about the experience, particularly the sexual abuse experience, know that it was not your fault. You did not consent. There's absolutely no way that a child can consent to something they don't even understand. The other thing that's really important is to know that the main impact of childhood sexual abuse is to the nervous system, is to the experience of life perhaps not being safe. The main aspect of childhood and sexual abuse leaves you feeling very alone, very vulnerable, and believing that somehow you're bad. One of the things that I recommend is paying attention to how much of what you were told and how much of what you were blamed for are you still believing. It is important to sit with yourself and evaluate who you really are. And maybe ask yourself, where did those behaviors come from? Where did those ways come from? If there are ways in which you behave that you're not pleased with, but know what is your truth and what was what someone else told you about yourself. It helps to do affirmations. I have clients who say to me, but it's hard to affirm something I don't believe. And I say, that is why you need to affirm it. That is exactly why, because you don't believe it. But after hearing it over and over again, after affirming it, reinforcing it over and over again, eventually you begin to feel connected. So remind yourself that you are worthy, that you are good, that there's nothing to be ashamed of, that you can begin to let go of the guilt. Remind yourself that you are enough, that you are loved, lovable, and able to love, even if in this moment you don't believe it, you're not feeling it.